Okay, so I'm going to continue talking about anecdote of mine. Okay, thanks to him, I learned the truth of anarchy. Uh, I was in Copan because I was okay. I left my home. I renounced to my work because I felt really afraid to be here. Now I'm back, and I will keep on teaching because that's what I love in every form that is possible. And okay, so the last day that I was in Copan, because I I was a paid a room in a hostel, and I stayed there for almost all time. And there in Copan, there is well, the thing is that as well there is good, there is bad. So thanks to God, I didn't let the badness that I met, that really I didn't know, but my innocence made that nothing happened, nothing to happen. Thanks God, thanks to God. Uh, and the last day, I was telling my mother that I was coming back because I didn't felt but the last day I was arriba in the part the okay, so I met a young man um, the last day that I was in Copan, and thanks to him I went to Guatemala and then went to Atitlan. I had a dream before that I meant that there was a a a leon with the body of a man but with the hair of a leon, something like, I don't remember the translation, but it's with the family of a cat, the Rey Leon with the hair, and he was meditating, and he was inviting me to meditate with him. And that dream I had before I went to Copan came reality. That dream I had, um, I saw him, and but then I looked to my cell phone, and I woke up, and started to rain, and I woke up, and that really happened. in the reality, when I met that young man, that when I saw him, he was tall, white, and with like long hair and long barba. And when I saw him, I just he remind me a lot about Jesus, and I feeling really bad. So I just told him, take my demons out, and then he told me that he was a master for me. He had a collar, una cadena of a with a face of a leon, and and in his, I think it was his left hand. Remember, I think if I remember good, was in the left hand that he had a tattoo of 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 a of of anarchy. So I when I came back, I told that story that I had experienced to a a woman who, when he was young, he was a hippie, and she was like a. She told me that it was Jesus who I saw, but uh, anyway, uh, Jesus means the Savior. Before that name he had, his name was Emmanuel. That means the son of God. And I met a lot of people who remember me going to Atitlan of Guatemala. I remember that a lot of people remember me of Jesus, and they didn't. They were with uh, court hair, and in a way, it is like a feeling of that you feel uh, when a person is really united to God, and that to creation, to to nature, and uh, with a lot of peace. That feeling takes you to, or in my case, to remember Jesus. And uh, he told me that when he was seeing me and talking to me, he said one time that, he said that he meditate every time that he was before he want to do something, he meditate. And when he was talking to me, like, all the nature, when I see it looks real, and but then, and he told me that he I remember him when he was younger, and he gave me a work to go to Las Ruinas to meditate or sleep in. And then I met a there I met it, he told me that he has a okay a, a he has clean with the incienso there, and there I met a guy that he was also in the hostel. I met there in the hostel, and I saw him there too, and he told me that he studied in a school that was teaching art when he was little, so he sees the world in a different way. So again, then he was going to smoke a cannabis, and he told me if I wanted, and yes, and because I was alone, um, he also told me that he was going to go, and if I want the the bag of cannabis, and it's really like a sacred plant. But in my case, I was feeling alone, and I was thinking a lot, and I just told him that I didn't. But I accept to smoke with him, and we smoked. He told me that that uh, he told me that he has seen me, and that I ask people about life, and he told me that nobody knows why they are living. They just live, and then I told him I heard him, and but then I told him that I was going to try and meditate, so he accepted, and he left, and I tried to meditate, but I couldn't, because I think a lot before before I meditate. And well, first I went to the mountain and walk and go through woods, and going up and then coming down, and then I imagine myself up in the mountain with all the other mountains that were, and I meditate in that state. And at first it was really difficult for me, but 30 minutes, and then it, after the 30 minutes, I had my mind in white, and I could meditate, and I meditate for 1 hour with my hands up, because in a way I felt that if I put my hands up, I receive the goodness, the energy, and I meditate sitting like in loto, half lotto, and with my hands up. So I closed my eyes and imagined that I was up in the mountain, because I always go up in the mountain in the in a time, all the days, and then thanks to it, when I meditate, I was more in peaceful with myself, and I could go to a state of silence, and 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 then because, well, I told him that I'm not, I'm going to meditate, and he understood and left. It was okay, but I couldn't meditate, and I started walking, and I saw peoples, and I watched that they were watching me, and I felt like they were judging me because I was trying to meditate, and after I walked, I started seeing up a lot of flies going up, and I thought it was because I reject the the cannabis plant, but now I analyze that properly is because they were judging me, and those people, and they were seeing me, and they were judging me, and the flies are representing the bad energies that I receive through them, and I was feeling really bad, and I saw a river, and I sit sit in the river and put my feet through the water, and thought, okay, I'm going to throw myself. Um, uh, I thought, I remember that the brother of my mother, he died saving another friend of him, because they were in the water in the beach, and they were in the beach inside in the boat, and one of his friends, a girl, jumped, and the water had like um, a tornado inside water, and he jumped, and got inside the water, and took her, but he couldn't save himself, and the tornado took him out down, and then he one day took him out. Um, they put them like this, and he was alive. But my mom says that if they put my aunt in the other way like this, upside down, the water could go outside him, because he had some water, because he drowned himself trying to save his friend, and she saved, but he died. But I always thought that because of that, that he gave his life in a way he wasn't think about nothing all else but trying to help his friend who was going to get inside of the water, take her out. So I always thought that that was a a a his life is because the reincarnation is it is true, and you reincarnate with people who has been around you or in places who have been in your life, and now I see him. He's a little boy who inside himself is a girl, and he's light because uh, life uh, he give his light to save another person, a friend, and he now is a boy, little boy, and he's still with our he's still with us in the family, and because he had a really close relationship with my mother. He born in he's the son of my brother, and younger than me. That he's married, and he's light, and everything that he does is light. And now kids are really opened and have their your her their eyes really open and see the whole world in a real a true state of mind, and um, before the kids that born they born with their eyes closed, and the people have to wait 40 days so they could open their eyes. And now the my generation and the generation of my mother born with their eyes open, and but the generation have more light, more lucid lucid dead, so they're more in the here and now state of mind, because every kid is in the moment. He doesn't remembers what happened yesterday, and he doesn't think about what is he doesn't have fear about what was is happening. He just imagine, and he feels, and he's a passion with life and with all, and impressed with everything, and because everything is new for him, and and that's why Jesus uh, told us, said that uh, until you have a state of mind and heart of a kid, you'll be in the heaven, because heaven is in the earth. And okay, so uh, this tattoo has helped me one time when I was in Atlan, and I was in the restaurant that I worked. That it was a really bad restaurant with a really bad energy, and uh, really bad. But I discovered, and I just been lost when I knew that, because I couldn't be in there anymore. Um, there was a guy that he was 18, and he was with a hat, and he told me that he is Christian, but he doesn't have like a really a, a really a is not like a Christian, but he didn't have like any, and he was going to search for look for manjas and for the archaeology, and he was going to uh, walk with with the wood, and days before, one day before, I was with a tambor that Thor gave. He was from Berlin, and his friend Thor made it, because he does tambores to really good. I and I think that it was because of the energy, and because of the who made it, and because where it was. I felt really good taking it, and I really imagine, okay, I want to do that. I want to take a walk with the tambor, and the day before, after, this man was saying me that he's Christian, and he wants to look about the Mayan history, and he wants to take the wood and walk with them. And but um, after that, I was sitting there, and then some uh, guys from Descendant Maya from the territory of the Atlitan. Uh, uh, I felt really like nervous in a way. My tattoo looked showed me like light, light, and they were talking me about that. The owner, she made tattoos, and they want tattoos for themselves, and I was like nervous, and then the owner told me, okay, you go away from the restaurant because um, you are right now not okay, so you go away. But in that moment now I realized that this tattoo saved me, and those people, they show me the light that um, well, the Mayas, they have a sacred way of seeing the world, and they are united with nature. And I I I here in Honduras, they make this for the kids, the one of my churches. They are so sublimin, submitted with the state. They are treated like really bad, and but they have like a really real connection with nature, and their heart is full of love, and uh, and okay, so thanks to them, I didn't fall with that trap that they were he was going to wanted to do, and and now I want to a tattoo of anarchy, the 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 photo that I okay, so now that I talk about that, I'm going to use it to go with something that I want to share. Merlin, he was he lived in Atitlan. I met him. He had a house in the Arriba, up near the mountain, and he led the the young tourists to camp, to have their camp in her house, and he didn't ask for money, and he was a master. He's a master, and one time I went there, okay, and he was really good with and not nature, and with the natives that live there. I remember one time there was a woman, young woman with some clothes. He came there and he talked her, and it looked like she was really felt really in a confront con, con, talking to him, and he was really nice to her. And one time we were eating there, some from a couple, a girl that was really had really was good. He was um, um, had a good heart and mind. She was with her boyfriend that was from Guatemala. She was from a place from Europa, and they met. And she explained me that he was from those places there, and he was from Guatemala, and they are couple. And I was thinking how could it was possible that how it happened. And when we were eating in the table outside, Merlin had like a really good natural flowers and everything. Um, and he every time in the morning he put water to them, and all of the morning he went down to the lago uh, at Atitlan, and he take a bath there, and then he went to his friend um that was sore, and um, and one time I went there with him, and thanks to that time I realized that uh, I met Thor, because I asked Merlin if I could go with him to go to the lago to take a bath in the morning, and he said okay. And, and that when we were eating in in at first days that I met him, and I was starting to go to that house. Um, the girl that was from Europe, uh, she asked Merlin, how do you do the the mantequilla, the thing that is like you put it on bread and you eat it. And he said, okay, you use the milk and you put it a in a tela, a bolsa de tela, a bolsa of this, and you leave it there for all night long, and you wait to all the thing goes down, the the thing. Don't remember the translation in English. And then in the other day you are going to have mantequilla. And I just said, oh, that is the way my mother do mantequillas too. I just said that because that is mantequilla Arabic mantequilla. And I just said that that is the way my mother do mantequilla, and that is all. He didn't say anymore, but I think in a way she was want to know where I am, because I think she looked to me like a friend, and I really met a lot of light people there. Uh, it, when she told me that his boyfriend was from Guatemala and she was from Europe, she told me that. because well there was a guy that he was uh, staying in the house of Merlin in the Campagna house with the Campagna house, and he was really nice. And at first, the first time that he saw me, he said to me, "Oh, look at my my how do you say pen?" And I I I really I didn't saw it. I didn't saw. I was really spontaneous of him, and I left because I was smoking cannabis with a. I now I see that it was a bad guy, and he did days after I just didn't want to go to Merlin's house because he and a woman that was with him were staying there inside the house, and I didn't want to see them. And the boy that because I liked him and he liked me, and he wasn't from America. He was from in the places of Europe, but he didn't told me where he was, and I didn't told him where I was. I didn't told anyone where I am. Uh, uh, my name I didn't say to them, but I hang out with them because it was. I felt it was good. I felt like, and every time I felt like bad because there are really bad people. Uh, One time I went to a psychologist who did like a therapy using like the the plants with the 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 energy of the plants and gives some you to put some gotas in the and she told me that I I I I, didn't have to say about Palestine and that I was from descended from Palestine because here people here okay, but that is the bad part of the experience there, but the good part I'm going to keep on telling. Uh, and he was really beautiful, and he told me once that they just been in the land of where the house of Malin. He he gets the knowledge and energy, and he learned from just sleeping there. And actually, when I met when I see him the first time, and then I see him all the other times, I see the changes that that just being in the place and learning from Medellin made him like he just remembered me. He was acting. He was being like Merlin when he was singing and when he was walking, the butterflies were flying through, across him and everything was beautiful and I felt in love with him and he was in love with me and that's why he was always trying to help me and every time I I needed help I went to him and and uh, and he was beautiful he tried uh, always to get me to that state that he was like doing rituals and showing me what he knew and it wasn't arrogante he was really like spontaneous and he was nice and one time I told him that I needed help and he told me okay let's go and he took he gave me a wood big wood and he took another big wood for him and he told me let's go into the house of Merlin and but I was like ashamed of taking the wood because um hours later I saw a, a good guy who was from Mexico who also remembered me to Jesus but with short hair and he asked me how are you because he always say hi and to tell me what I needed without asking. And in that time, I was feeling really bad. And he asked me, "How are you?" And I don't remember what I told him. And he gave me a hug, and I felt his love. What when he gave it to me and when I felt love but I went to a place a bad place where there was a bad witch that he says that he's a doctor and he helps but he is not a good he's not good and when I don't know why I went there. I think because he gave to me uh, before in the first days he gave to me some a ungota in the water in the mouth and he took one and because I told him that right now what is happening is that there is like the feminine the the people are going to have an ascension and when I told him that he took his bottle and take out some a gota and tell me take this it helps you and okay I took it at first I didn't realize that it was bad but He was talking to me, I just thought that he was really uh, arrogant and selfish in a way, and and then he took another to him, and I think that that's why I went to that house. Although in a way I knew that that place was really a bad place, but I think he was a H0, and that thing he did. And when I entered, I saw a lot of people sitting down. He was talking like he was teaching, and when I saw a lot of people, I just and when I saw like a French girl, and why eh, I knew, and I thought that she was good. Uh, and I saw them. I didn't want to be there, and because he was a liar. And then he said, "Okay, so she's not going to stay here. So let me give her a hug." And when he gave me a hug, he took all the love that the young man from Mexico gave it to me, because I felt my heart empty then, and I left, and I went to a hotel where it was in front of the lago, the lake, and there was the guy that he didn't said her name, and I didn't told my name. I put his I I here I just thought his name was Jackson. I like that name for him. So so I told him that I really need the help, and he told me, okay, let's go. And he took a wet wood, and he took a wood for me. And when I took the big wood, I was like ashamed of doing this in front of. I thought people were going to judge me, and I I I told him, okay. So he took it. He took both of them, and he started with me to going up to the house of Merlin. And when we were going, he was singing that what was going to happen with us, and it was good. It was like we were make we was going to make love, and because love, making love is like the connection of the two souls being one, and all the light that he had through the making love. We were going to be one, and I was going to be like in love, because I didn't know that I was in love until I was back in Honduras. Um, because but there then eh, 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 pues le, so when we were now in the house of Merlin, he took some a machete, Merlin, and we start cortando the wood. And I remember that it was like something that we is like something to initiate what the sharing our souls in a way, making something together. It's like connection in a way to be like to go to the next stage of wanting with yours all your soul and your heart to be with that person and to make love with him or she. And so we started and cut the wood. And I remember that when I was cutting the small wood that I was cutting, I was cutting it, and it was like, and once he saw it, he said that it looks like a instrument, like when years ago, when the music was with some like a way of a circle way of that had like different states of points, and it goes around and around, and the music starts to play to the last symphony. And he told me it looks like that. And I was thinking when he told me, oh, in a way I was thinking the same thing, but I didn't tell him yes. I just thought, and he was like, I you had to, in a way, she he I had to 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 share, because that's the propósito of love, sharing one another the truth and the love. And I didn't, I just thought, and and, and my mind just took, and he was like, and he left. And then he called me to eat some aguacate with Merlin, and we were there and we ate, and it was really good. But then a young man came, and I thought that he was good. I thought that he was like good. So in my mind, I didn't said in my mind. I just ima- imagine maybe he plays the tambor like when I first came into the house of Merlin, that I took the tambor and started to play. And I just said that, and the guy Jackson told me you didn't have to do that, because Then the young bad guy went inside and took the tambour and start playing, and it was like and start singing songs that was like really bad, and I was afraid, so I I I I, I left and keep on doing the what the wood, but then he left and Marine came and took the acha and the wood and started uh, rompiendo, cutting it. In the way he was cutting the hechizo that he made,